Well, hello, hot stuff, and happy Monday. I am going into the public part of my Give Good Email launch this week. So I've launched on waitlist behind the scenes. I've got a live event happening this week before we kick off a live immersion in Give Good Email. So there is a lot happening. What I wanted to talk about today is my mindset and the things that I tell myself in a launch and why I think, one, I never finish a launch where I feel like I need a holiday. Two, I am not burned out, even though I do a lot of work. Three, how even if I do not get the result that I want, and I rarely do, how I never fall into a heap, and then what you can take from this. If there is something that I see a lot happen in the business owner and the entrepreneur space, it is people that try to hide under the blanket of being realistic when really the blanket is them just being a wet fucking blanket. And I see this a lot where people are like, well, I'm running an event and I only have this many people coming along. And I know with conversion numbers, because I've studied this, that I'm probably not going to get a sale. But it's just how it is sometimes. I wouldn't want to give you any fucking money either. You know who I'd want to give money? I am so fucking lit up for the 20 people that are coming along to my live event. I cannot wait to change lives. I can't wait to uncover things that happen in this workshop that make me realize that could be a book idea, that could be a keynote, that could be like a content series that I could unpack. I can't wait for the conversations. I can't wait for what happens after the workshop. I can't wait for people to have such a good experience, for them to go and tell their friends and for them to book into the next workshop. You can see here how both of those things could be true. And what you need to ask yourself is, where do you fall? Do you fall under, just being realistic? Or do you fall under actually writing the truth of how things could be? Now, a skill that all entrepreneurs need to be able to master, it is the ability to bring yourself back to a really good baseline and the ability to change your state and be in this almost like I don't want to say a positive frame of mind, but you're kind of not in this like, oh my God, I'm really stressed. Oh my gosh, this just isn't going to work. Oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. I haven't done enough. The ability to take yourself from there into something that is more optimistic. And there are so many different ways that you can do this. You also want to make sure that you may be like, I'm really good at this. I am really good at keeping like a positive frame of mind. And I want to then say, be conscious then when you are in a launch, the people that you choose to hang around. So I will make sure that even if I'm not getting the results that I want, and if we are not tracking how I want, if someone asks me how my launch is going to go, what do you think I'm going to say? So what I do is whenever people ask me how I'm going and how is launch, it's fucking amazing. It's incredible. It's so good. I can't wait for people to join. I can't wait for everything that's going to happen. I can't wait to read their case studies. I can't wait to read their testimonials. So you want to do that. Then what I tell myself is I look at all of the things that I have working for me, even if they are not ideal or they are not at my goal. For example, we have a live workshop on Tuesday and I wanted to get 100 people, and it has been challenging. Let me tell you, it has been challenging. I'm going to have to reflect back on this. I don't know if I shot myself in the foot because we put them on the podcast, but uptake wasn't where I thought that it would be. So I could in that moment tell myself that the launch was fucked because we didn't have enough people and that this was all for nothing. I want you to remember that every time something happens in your business or you show up, it's like a fork in the road. You are standing at this point where you get to pick how this is working for you, or you get to be a wet blanket. You get to be like, oh my God, I did such a bad job. It's going to be the world's worst launch. It's going to be cursed. Or you get to tell yourself, I can't wait for the 40 people that are coming to experience my method. I can't wait for me to fucking smash it out of the park with results. Because let me tell you, when you are being realistic and when we think about continually being realistic, what you don't realize is you put a ceiling on your potential. You put a ceiling on what is possible. And I see this a lot where people who are really well studied and they want to learn all of the things. And what I want you to remember with this is, even with benchmarks, even with anything, even with shit that I tell you, and if you are basing my success on your success, you are putting a ceiling on what is possible for you. And the problem is, when you put a ceiling on what is possible for you, it prevents all of the fucking magic in life and in business happening. Because you don't push yourself, you don't try new things, you are not open to like unexpected and delightful things happening, because you are hiding under the banner of being realistic and, just setting expectations. I've got something fun for you to think about. So, recently, and this is why this whole launch, I have said, this is going to be my 100K launch. This is going to be my 100K launch. Nothing on paper says this is our 100K launch. Nothing whatsoever. But I felt in my body, how good does it feel to think that this could be your 100K launch? And it felt amazing. It was this like real delicious feeling. Now, compared to, well, you don't really have a lot of people that have opted into the waitlist and this event, so it's not going to go well. How do you think I would have shown up if I told myself that? How do you think my energy would be? What do you think about the conviction in my content? And I know you may be like, well, I'm just being realistic. Here is a perfect example. When I put the Give Good Email waitlist out, I had 13 people on there. One was me. So I had 12 people on this waitlist. Now, speak to anyone that's realistic. What would they say? Oh, it's not going to do well. You won't get any sales. Realistically, it's just not going to happen. 25% of that waitlist bought. 25 fucking percent. 25% of people converted. How cool is that? How cool is that because I went into this with a really good optimistic state and frame of mind, and I was like, I am the fucking best, and I attract the best, and I'm going to have the best results, and I am going to be an example of what is possible. I am going to be an example for people that they can always make it work and they can get whatever results they want. Could you imagine if I went into this thinking I'm just going to be realistic? Do you know what would have happened if I would have been realistic? I never would have followed people up. The people that purchased, I looked and they were clicking in the emails, and I went and I messaged every single person and they bought. And one person said that got her across the line. Could you imagine if I was like, there's no point following people up? I'm being realistic. You can see here how it's like a wet fucking blanket. And the problem is with this, the more realistic you are, the more that this just perpetuates more in your business. For me, if I am ever not loving my life or my business or what is happening, why the fuck do I want that to continue? If I am not loving where I am and the results that are happening, why do I want that to continue? I don't want that to continue. So it is up to me to do everything that I can to change my state and get a completely different outcome. If I want this to continue, it would make sense for me to keep showing up and doing the same shit. And this is why you may be pissed hearing this, but maybe it's the circuit breaker that you need. Because we don't need more people just going through being realistic. It's the market. No one's buying courses. No one's doing this. No one's doing that. Well, they're not for you. They are not for you. So you want to make sure that you are telling yourself that you are the exception and that you are here to change lives and that everyone's day and life is made infinitely better by how you show up and the energy that you bring and the value that you provide. How fucking good does that feel, right? How good does that feel? How well do you think that you would show up if you told yourself this every day? If you just caught these little thoughts that you tell yourself and that you landed on that? Because the thing is, this is where you get to rewrite the things that we tell ourselves, and you will be so surprised at how your life is different. You could still go into a launch and get no sales. Okay, I'm not going to lie. You could open cart and get no fucking sales. But what will determine how you feel at the end of the launch is how you talk about yourself and how you show up and the energy that you bring. Because let me tell you, I have seen people before that get to their launch goal, but they are dragging themselves to get there and they are beating themselves up mentally in the process, saying that they have not done enough and that they have imposter syndrome and this feels really crap. And what happens if they can't do this? And then they close their cart and they get sick and they fall into a heap. We can be the busiest ever that I have ever been and get no sales, and you wouldn't know. This is something I want you all to aim for, is the ability to be in a really good state and frame of mind, even if life is railing you, and being able to get up the next day, dust yourself off and be like, how cool is it that I am still alive and that I still have the ability to show up and change lives? When we launch, the spotlight just isn't on the thing that we are launching. The spotlight is on your whole brand. It is on everything that you are doing. So even if you are focusing on a particular offer, your podcast your downloads could go through the roof. People may be like, okay, cool, I want to work with her in Q1. You actually never know all of these little seeds that have been planted of people who are like, I need this person in my life, in my business. And the problem is, the more that we hide under this like realistic banner, we don't show up as much, and we run the risk of losing opportunities. Now, let's circle back to what I said at the start, circle back, how very corporate of me. But I rarely meet my launch goals. I rarely ever meet them. Doesn't mean I'm not doing a good job. You know what? Sure, I could probably do some different things, but the reason I never meet my goal is because I do what Brooke Castillo says, and that is called a stretch goal or an impossible goal. It's about, who you are becoming in the pursuit of that goal and how you get to grow and how you get to try all of these different things. So I say this as someone that rarely ever meets their launch goal. Rarely, ever, ever. Now, could you imagine if I had my benchmark of success of me selling out and launching and really doing my goal every single time? Do you think I would keep showing up? No, I would not keep showing up. We are in our 15th launch of Give Good Email. If I was like, we have to win and we have to sell out, and if that was my benchmark of success, I probably wouldn't be doing this launch because the course wouldn't have lasted more than a year. I would have not been able to see my way through. So how do I still show up when I don't meet my goal? Let's talk about this. So one thing I want to say is I love money and I love achieving and I love results. I love all of that. I get so excited when a sale pops through. But the problem is I am also aware of the fact that when someone pays me money, they are making a decision. They are making a decision to spend money in my business. And I cannot manipulate people into making a decision to spend money with me because sometimes they don't have the money. Sometimes it is not the right time. Sometimes they're like, I'm not in the right headspace. I can show up and I can do everything textbook perfect. I can have Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, Layla Hormozy, Rachel Rogers, Oprah, whoever the fuck. I could have them be like, great launch, everything looks amazing. And I can still have people that don't buy because they are making a decision. And the only thing that you ever have control of in any situation is you and how you show up and the energy that you bring and how you respond to things. So because of that, I look at the success of my launch based on how I feel, how I show up, and the work that I've done. And something that I do is I think about every night when I go to bed and my head hits the pillow, am I proud of the work that I have done that day? And every night I get to have a check-in. And if I am not proud, I get to be curious on why that is. And sometimes it's because I put too much on my plate, or sometimes I've been talking too much at work and I didn't get everything that I wanted done. Cool. Then if that's a priority, get it done tomorrow. And I have a bit of a stern talking to myself because I'm happy to have a moment of stern talking to me if it means that I'm going to meet future Peter at the end of her launch and she is going to be in a really good frame of mind instead of beating herself up and thinking about all the things that she didn't do and then having this really heavy energy that she's taking forward in her business. I don't want that. So the metric I aim for is I'm going to make myself proud every single day. When my head hits the pillow at night, I know that I have done my best work. And sometimes I will extend myself more. It's Sunday right now. I have so much to do. I am doing this podcast. I did not go away. I've realized how helpful it is to actually go away and film, like batch record the podcast. I didn't do that. And today, there's so many things that I have to do. And I told myself, cool, get it done. Surprise yourself. Like, just get it done. If you are in a funky mood and you want to better control your state, the first thing that I would do is I would stand the fuck up. I would stand up. If you're in the car, just sit up straighter. If you're laying down in bed, just think about your posture, think about your body, and just give everything just like a bit of a shake out. Just shake the fucking energy out. Shake the funky shit out. Just give your shoulders a bit of like a shrug, pull them up to your ears and then just drop them down. Pull them up to your ears and then just drop them down. And then take a big breath in. Breathe out all the air. And then I would start to tell myself really positive things. Even if things were feeling hard, even if nothing was working out, even if I'm literally in the middle of my launch and I got no fucking sales. And trust me, I have been there many, many times. I would look at the work. I would open my sales page. I would look at the content and I would be like, holy fuck, you are a magician. You are incredible. Can you believe that a past version of yourself just pulled this knowledge from the sky and you were able to put this into something that people can buy? How cool is it that you are making your knowledge accessible? Even if it's 100 grand, you're still making it accessible because it's not living in your brain. You are putting it out into the world. How cool is it that you're doing that? You are a motherfucking magician. People would have burned you at the stake. Like how many years ago? They would have been like, what a fucking witch. Who can do that? You can fucking do that. You're incredible. Of course you can. And how cool is it that today the most unlikely thing could happen? How cool is it that right now someone could be entering their payment details into your checkout to give you money? How cool is it that someone could be writing an email to give you cash or to ask if they can work with you? How cool is it that you have multiple conversations that you can't even hear that are about you and your brand and how amazing you are? How cool is it that you have so many advocates for your business, your brand, what you do happening all the fucking time? How cool is it that you have built a brand and an audience that loves you so hard that you right now are doing whatever the fuck that you are doing, and there are so many conversations of people saying, work with her, give her money. How fucking cool is it? How cool is it that you did the work to get your business to a point where that could happen? How cool is it that you have shit in your calendar that you could look forward to? How cool is it that you have so much potential of things that you could do? You could start a podcast. You could sell $100,000 offer. You could write a book. You could create a TV show and sell it to Netflix. You could be on a TV show on Netflix. You could create a movie. You could do whatever you want. You could throw your business in the bin and then wake up the day after and start it completely different. How fucking cool is that? How cool is that? You need to be able to start to talk to yourself and tell yourself things like this. And trust me, you'll be in such a good mood. People say to me all the time, I can't be like you. You know what? Rewind 5 years, rewind 10 years, rewind 20 years. I wasn't fucking like this either. This was an intentional choice and daily action to get here. And anytime someone's like, I wish I could be like you could be, but you're choosing not to. And it's not about being like me. It's about being the best version of you. And you want to make sure something really, I want you to sink this in. A lot of the time we can tell ourselves that, oh, it's just a bad day. Make sure it's not your whole fucking personality, right? Make sure it is not your personality. Be honest with yourself here, because this is your life. This is your one fucking life. And let me tell you, if you can master showing up in a launch when you have so much on the line and it is not going well, you'll be able to do anything that life throws at you. You'll be able to do anything with grace and ease and a smile on your face and really good fucking hair. So we get to practice this. And as a result, we get better at life. We get so much better at life. Hot stuff. I love this. Let me tell you, I feel so fucking good. I have the worst hair headache. Oh my God, aren't they the worst? When you feel like your hair bends and your scalp hurts. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to record this podcast? Where am I going to be able to get energy from? Let me tell you how I walked into this room versus how I'm leaving, two completely different people. And I did that in 25 minutes. 25 minutes. Think about how many times you are in a bad mood and how it's not over in 25 minutes, how you may carry that into your whole week or a month. You can change your state. It's going to take you as long as you let it to change your state and feel a different way. So hot stuff. I love this. I love you and I really love you. I love you so much because my method, my body of work, how I talk about things, everything in business is made better by the fact that every week on the podcast now, twice a week, I show up twice a week and I have to refine my method. You make me accountable. So I love you more than that. I love you more than the fact that it's gray and gloomy outside and I am indoors and I'm warm and I've got the whole day ahead of me to work and then it's quiet in here. I love that. I love that I have this beautiful, clean office to come to and I see people and we'll have a little chat because, I love my little chats. So I love you more than that. And I love you more than, oh my gosh, you know what I'm so looking forward to? I'm going to wash my hair this afternoon. I'm going to go downstairs. There's a luxury health club and we're allowed to use their bathrooms. And I'm going to go and wash my hair. They've got these filtered water. So I'm going to have a little spa experience. It smells beautiful down there. It smells beautiful down there and they play beautiful music. So I love you more than my sexy little afternoon. I love you more than my day. I feel like I'm going to have a really good, productive day. I got a fucking lot on. Actually, I bought this notebook. Can I show you? Is it here? It's this really beautiful notebook. And the brand is Bespoke Letterpress. And I'm pretty sure they're in, is it Barrel or Berrima? Can't actually remember. But I've gone and had lunch there. And I love the cover of this. It's just so pretty. I would want this as wallpaper in my home. All right, hot stuff. Let's end it here. Have a sexy day. And if you're feeling like shit, go fucking feel better. Tell yourself different things. Tell yourself a more empowering story. I love you. Mwah.